I was allegedly taken from my birth mother at 15. The doctors told her I died in childbirth, and I was put into adoption. I was born in Asuncion, Paraguay, and right after the Stroessner dictatorship, which was a 35-year dictatorship. And after that, a lot of babies were taken from their families. There's a whole BBC documentary on it. It was crazy, a crazy time.
Conversations with indie authors.
You are a marketer, you've written a book, and that's what you do. And so I was just curious, I like to, and authors constantly need help with marketing. They have a hard time with it. They think a lot of it's because we close off from the world while we're being creative, and then we come out and nobody knows who we are anymore. So we have to reconnect with everyone. And so different questions like, where does what do we need to be doing? And so there's so many different schools of thought, like for marketing, authors are like, well, how on earth do I do that? How can I afford that when I just got my book out? I just paid for editors, I just paid for all this stuff. And so where do I spend what little money I have, and where is that effective?
Yeah. Is that a question for me?
Yeah, that's a question for you.
Yeah, of course. So I wrote my book actually in 4 months. It seems as though every time I have a baby, I decide to birth a creative venture. So my first baby was my business after that. And then my second baby, I wrote a book, and I had him in June. And then August, I committed to writing a book in 4 months. So I wrote every day while I was nursing for 4 months. And at the end of the 4 months, I had a completed book. It's about, I don't even know, like 345 pages, give or take. And it was a grind, but I hired a publishing coach to help me just with accountability and staying on task. I work really well. I recently found out I have ADHD, so I get very distracted. And it's sometimes really hard for me to finish things once I start them. So I work well with coaches and like accountability partners. It's a really successful model for me when I try to accomplish anything. And as far as the marketing goes, I reached out to the low hanging fruit. So my personal network, my friends, family. So I pre-sold 150 books before the book was even done. So that was like a helpful thing for me. Most self-published authors, I think it's like on average sell 350 books in their lifetime. And that's self-published. So and there's a lot of like self-published authors out there, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is hard to sell a book, especially if it's something like mine, which is personal. So my book is, I wouldn't really call it an autobiography, but it's a compilation of stories from my life, learning experiences that I've had. It's called Learning is a Lifelong Journey. So I love Chicken Soup for the Soul growing up. So I took chunks of my life, probably the most prominent stories, the most inspiring stories, and I kind of sliced it up and put it into this book in different chapters. And what I did was I peppered in mentors of mine and their stories and how that's impacted me. And each sub chapter ends with questions and actionable items for the reader, because I'm really big on action, and not only that, interactive, like experiential. I think that education should be experiential and not just speaking to someone, but telling them how they can enact it in their life. Taking that inspiration and turning it into like creation. And I'm hoping that that's what my book has done for people. And the marketing of that started with just like the low hanging fruit people I know, and connecting with them and just saying like, hey, I got this book out. This is what it's about. And a lot of people will support you. I don't know if all of them read it, but sometimes like the people closest to you will want to kind of support you in your endeavor. My book was a little pricey too, because I love hardcovers. I love tangible books. So I wanted a hardcover, the sleeve, the whole shebang. And so it was a little bit pricier, and I'm going to eventually do a like audiobook to
nice.
to pair that up for those that don't like to read the tangible books. I know that audiobooks are huge now, but it's a challenge. Marketing is not an easy thing, especially if you don't do it regularly. Um, there are many free opportunities out there, like collaborating on someone else's blog to kind of get visibility. Um, Many blog writers are looking for content creators. So if you've written a book and enjoy writing, it's a passion of yours. It's a really great segue to getting yourself visibility through other channels and other markets, other demographics throughout the country. Because the beauty of the internet is that it's so widespread and it opens you up to connecting with so many more people. And obviously social media too is a great outlet. I myself don't love social media so much. I get a little stage fright. It's funny. I could talk in front of 200 people and be fine in person, but when it comes to like on mics, it's like omnipresent, right? It's saved there. Like if you make like a goofy face when you're speaking to a group of 200 people, like unless someone takes a picture of it, like you know, it's like a fleeting memory. But when you're documented online, like for me, it's like it has this permanence factor, which is a little bit scary. So social media hasn't been as strong of an outlet for me, but that's more of a like a personal kind of hindrance a little bit. But that can be a really great opportunity for authors to have success with marketing, is that consistent visibility in that kind of omnipresent way. Um, and I think being genuine and connective is like the best way to sell anything. Because people buy from people, and that's like in the simplistic form. That's how you sell. And it typically takes 7 touch points to convert someone to a client.
Absolutely true. Do you have plans of writing another book?
Yes. So my first book included some of my adoption, and I was allegedly taken from my birth mother at 15. The doctors told her I died in childbirth, and I was put into adoption. I was born in Asuncion, Paraguay, and right after the Stroessner dictatorship, which was a 35-year dictatorship. And after that, a lot of babies were taken from their families. There's a whole BBC documentary on it. It was crazy, a crazy time. And a little bit of my story is about identity, and it talks about just that feeling of being like unwanted and trying to find your place, which is something I think everybody can relate to in their life at some point or another. Um, my second book is going to be more about business. I touched upon business in my first book, leadership, entrepreneurship, kind of the woes and the grind of being a business owner, and some stories of my mentors. The former CEO of Subway, Don Furtman, is a mentor of mine, and
Hmm.
he allowed me to include his story in the book. He overcame a cocaine and alcohol addiction to help make Subway, one of the top franchises in the world. And the late owner of Subway, Mr. DeLuca, gave Don a chance when he was struggling and told him, I need you to go get the help that you need, and your job will be waiting here for you, which I think is like the type of leader I aspire to be, is putting people first and
Mhm.
really helping when someone's in need. And also having faith that someone can change and kind of reinvent themselves is just, for
Mhm.
me, like the utmost, type of leader that I want to be. So the next book is going to be about social impact marketing, is what I'm currently doing, and this kind of innovation to philanthropy that my company is trying to maybe not spearhead, but just kind of push forward in connecting nonprofits with corporate and private donors who want to be responsible in their giving.
So is it a 501(c)(3) or something then?
What, my business?
Yes.
No, we are a for-profit entity, but
Okay.
we are a marketplace for nonprofits to be featured, almost like Consumer Reports for nonprofits. So we verify nonprofits impactful. So we're like a third-party verification system or
Okay.
agency. And then we post them on our website. They get their own profile page where you can donate 100% directly to the nonprofit. And then we do CSR strategy for corporate clients, and we match make them with nonprofits in our network, so that we're guaranteeing that they're being 100% responsible and sustainable in their giving.
That's really nice because that's actually how I've actually seen a lot of people, oh, I donated there and it was a scam and they didn't, that's actually real. So it's nice
It
to be
is
able to have something that can
it, it's
alleviate that.
also creating a lot of donor apathy. So there's been instances where people don't vote because they're like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. So we're seeing the same thing with donors saying my dollar doesn't count, therefore I'm not going to donate. And so we're trying to flip that narrative to show people, if there's this platform that is 100% guaranteed to be responsible, ethical, um, if you go to our site and donate to the entities in our platform, like that you're getting an ROI on your donation, which, I mean, let's be real, whenever we pay for something as consumers, we want to know we're getting an ROI, whether it's we're buying a coffee and we wanted to get that, cafe mocha with, all the bells and whistles. When you get that purchase, the ROI is it tastes good, it gives you energy, it makes you feel good. Um, Never have I met a consumer who will buy something without getting what they intended, right? Or they would return it. Or we're trying to show donors that when you donate, you should be looking for that same ROI, which is an impact to your community, a sustainable impact, and also a change in your community for the better. So if that's not happening, then we're trying to tell people like there's something wrong with what's going on. Like as a society, we're not properly donating, and if we were, we can help push these nonprofits' missions forward, and that's really the goal, you know. So that's kind of our premise for what we've created this year, and the website just launched on Friday.
Oh,
Last Friday. Yeah.
congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much.
You are doing a lot. You're launching new businesses, you're writing books, you're marketing.
I know it's I don't know. I've been called a force to be reckoned with. I can't help it. I love people so much. So for me, it's just all about like connecting and just doing good. And I have two boys. So as like a parent, you're trying to create a legacy for your family. You're trying to model good behavior for your children so that they're better than you. And also just I want my kids to grow up in a better world.
I love your heart and I love your
I
spirit.
know.
I love it. It's wonderful. It's great. I really appreciate it. Can you tell everybody like if they're connecting with this as well and they want to actually get in touch with your business or you because you have so much that you offer, can you tell people how they can get a hold of you online?
Yeah, of course. So our new platform's otraway.com, OTRAWAY.com. It's a little Spanglish. I combine Spanish and English just because the two are so important to me. And it really means other way. It's funny, when I created this business about 2017, I made up the logo. I was helping people reunite with their families in Paraguay. And I couldn't take money because it was such a bad thing that happened, people being ripped from their families, and being adopted can be hard. So I didn't want to profit off of other people's like sadness and loss. And it wasn't a viable business. If you can't make money, if you can't make that money, it is a passion project or it is a failed venture. And I helped three people. And at that point, like I was like, this is not a business. So Ocha way for me has always been doing things a different way. And I never realized back in 2017 when I came up with the logo on like a scratch piece of paper that it would morph into this like societal change. So Ocha way means, another way to just think about giving, think about, marketing. And I'm also on Instagram. My personal one's Amanda.Marie.Mottola, Mottola. I love to connect with people there. I post, things about my life, and we're at Ocha Way on all other like social media platforms. Yeah, that's probably the best way to get in touch and connect, and happy to talk with people and kind of share this new like philanthropic innovation. And we do promotional products too. That was the bulk of our business when I started out, like all branded gear. And I just love helping, especially small businesses and nonprofits succeed and exceed their goals. Yeah, that's kind of everything in a nutshell.
That is awesome.
A big nut,
A big nutshell, a big
big
lots of
nutshell.
things going on nutshell. These are all awesome things. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today or with all of us for sharing all this stuff. I'm glad you invented this. You're an innovator. It's awesome. Yeah. And well, with your two kids, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, however you celebrate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Zarlequan Universe.